Hello everyone, in this video I'll be looking in some depth and detail at how Jupiter will affect you when he moves into Sagittarius from November the 5th, 2019 for all signs. Jupiter gives freedom, purpose and knowledge. First of all, I just want to introduce you to some important information before you start these readings so that you can absolutely make the best of them. I am going to be doing in this video something different to what you will find on the internet generally. For Vedic astrology, there are blocking houses to every planet's transit, and they are often, unfortunately, not given. And I am going to make sure that you get that. I want you to have the complete information of this Jupiter transit so that you are not misled. A very good example was last year for Pisces Moon, particularly. Jupiter in the 9th house was a supremely favourable transit, but it didn't give that effect because Saturn blocked it all year from the 10th house. So where that is appropriate, I will be giving you that valuable information. Also, I will be talking about how the moon sign reading has to be sometimes taken completely different to the lagna, and it has a completely different prediction. And again, you don't often get that information. So this will be all on this video. So Jupiter into Sagittarius, everybody, is exciting. It gives us freedom because Jupiter wants to free up those roadblocks in your life and move ahead in his own powerful sign. He gives you a purpose because that is Jupiter's raison d'etre. He wants to give you knowledge which will free you from Maya, but ultimately frees you from the feeling of restriction in certain areas of your life. So how will this manifest for you? Read it first of all from your moon sign, please, because that is your purpose, that is your life on earth. It's not just your mind, it's much more than that. And then you can add lagna, rising sign, and you can even read this from your Virgo chart, rising sign. It gives you good, valuable additional information. So let's start with Aries. So starting with Aries, Jupiter will be transiting the 9th house of your chart during this year. This is a very favourable transit. In fact, it couldn't be more favourable because Jupiter in his own house, the 9th house, and having rulership of the 12th house, gives you luck in foreign lands. Without doubt, foreign travel, foreign aspects, anything to do with higher philosophy and gurus themselves, or truth, or studying, or higher education are superbly fortunate for you. Students will find the right course if they've been on the wrong course before. Opportunities will just open up before you like a red carpet, particularly when you take a leap of faith, because here Jupiter aspects the first house. You will start to feel from the very beginning of this transit a feeling of inner confidence, a feeling that you believe in yourself, that you maybe did not last year when you had Jupiter in the 8th house. It may have brought you down in your mood. All of a sudden your mood will improve, your health will improve, and you will be feeling optimistic, full of vigor, moving forward with your plans. Also, your relationship with your siblings and your immediate family will improve enormously, and they may be a source of good fortune for you, as will your children. And there is a high opportunity of a birth in this year if that is what you want. So, Aries, it's a wonderful transit of this guru in your 9th house. But here's the thing I want to tell you. From the 26th of Jan next year, Saturn moves from your 9th house into your 10th house, and from that moment onwards, this Jupiter will be unfortunately blocked for you. So you won't get the same good fortune from that date onwards. Don't take it too badly. You can absolutely pacify Lord Shani by fasting on Saturdays and taking other remedies. But the easiest remedy to avoid the blocking of the good fortune is to make the most of November, December, most of Jan, to move ahead in your life with the good fortune behind you, knowing that you have this good fortune. So don't be concerned that in some way, if you start something, it's going to all fail after Jan the 26th. No, if you start it in a fortunate time, it will have a fortunate outcome. But the good fortune won't be as obvious and won't work for you as well in any way from this particular date. So be careful of that. Make the most of the opportunity, move forward, and I hope that this information will help you make the most of this fortunate Jupiter transit. Now on to Taurus. So, Taurus, Jupiter ruling your 8th house is in his own house and ruling your 11th house of income. It's a favorable time for new sources of income, even partnerships, and a new business venture. You have been through in the last 2 years huge transformation because Saturn has been in this house, in your 8th house, and stays there until the end of January next year. Therefore, Saturn is a form of Astamashani for your moon, and for your rising sign also a challenging time. You will have had many uncontrollable events in your life, particularly affecting your job and your career. I would expect there has been for many of you an uncontrollable, unexpected loss in your career where you have lost income, and it has absolutely had a huge impact on your family also. This has caused you a huge amount of stress and grief. Unfortunately, when you have Jupiter here, there will be healing factors for this. So as I say, new source of income, healing of the stress that you have been through and any impact that has had on your health, it will also improve. Your home life will improve. It's a very good time to invest in real estate. Moving abroad is also favored, and your spiritual development is hugely favored. Finally, Saturn in your 8th house has also maybe brought you family loss. There may have been a death in the family, or more than one, and it's caused you so much grief. Again, Jupiter is healing for you now. Turning within is favorable. Cutting off unwanted relationships and focusing on your own development spiritually and emotionally is favorable for you in this next year. So for Gemini, Moon and Lagna, Jupiter, Guru in your 7th house is hugely favorable. It's one of the most favorable times in your life, really, in the 12-year cycle of Jupiter, because Jupiter in his own house, Multicone house, gives you so much confidence. You have been having Saturn here and is still here for the last 2 years, giving you stresses and strains in your intimate relationships. Your spousal relationship and your business relationships will have been most impacted. There may have been a sense of distance between you. You may have been stressed and not knowing where to turn. Jupiter will be the healing factor now. Jupiter here will open up or communication between you and your spouse, and a healing factor will increase. Your health has been impacted because of Jupiter's transit in the sixth house. Niggling health issues will now be dissipated. Your health and your self-confidence and your feeling of well-being will improve. You will find new sources of financial sustenance, new income, and these may well involve in some way your siblings or will involve new ventures. So it's a very exciting time when new people pour into your life. New opportunities are coming to you from all areas, and most of all, your spousal relationship improves and there is more trust between you, more openness. It all depends where you are at with this relationship. If the relationship has completely broken down, then Jupiter will be the time of moving on, because Jupiter wants freedom. So Jupiter will make you move on from an unsatisfactory relationship. If you are looking for a good partner, a new relationship, there could be no better time to find that person than this Jupiter transit, particularly if you do that before Saturn moves into your 8th house at the beginning of Jan next year, because that gives you an added sense of the unexpected, because that's what, from your moon sign in particular, Saturn can do in Astam Shani. So no need to be fearful of that, because always Jupiter will protect you as he is in your 7th house, in a Kendra house, giving you all protection and help. So make the most of these next 12 months, Gemini, to meet new people, improve relationships, improve your business ventures, do something exciting and absolutely new, and you will have all the help you need to be successful. So for Cancer Moon and Ascendant, Jupiter is moving into your 6th house of conflicts, health issues, co-worker troubles, and all sorts of unexpected changes which upset you in your daily life. But don't fear, Cancer, because Jupiter has support from Saturn, and also next year, if you just have a quick look in the box below my video, you will see that Jupiter moves out of Sagittarius into Capricorn in April, May and June of next year, and that will give you a great deal of respite. And actually Jupiter in your 7th house is favorable, so good news will be coming to you then. So you may have job issues, career issues, you may have a desire to go abroad that may be thwarted for a short amount of time, and financial issues. But don't worry, Jupiter here, although it is slightly disturbing, will be controlled by Saturn. Saturn is in your 6th house and stays there until Jan the 26th next year. This means that the worst aspects of an uncontrolled Jupiter in your 6th house are hindered, and therefore you will be able to control any issues that arise. If you have medical concerns, you will be able to get the right help and control them. Also, as I say, when Jupiter moves into your 7th house in the springtime, April, May and June next year, you will have enormous opportunity to gain respite from any concerns, any conflicts, any co-worker issues, and sort them out. So your work and your financial issues will come to the fore in this 12-month period, but Saturn gives you support, and when Jupiter moves away from Sagittarius, you will find relief then. The best source of help is foreign countries for you. Moving abroad may not be totally on your cards right now with the other difficulties, but going abroad for a short time, for a pilgrimage, for spiritual aspects, or even just for a get away from it all holiday would be enormously beneficial for you. So for Leo Moon and Leo Ascendant, Jupiter Guru in your fifth house is one of the most favourable transits of Jupiter. Jupiter loves to be in the fifth house of wisdom and education. Jupiter expands your educational opportunities first and foremost. You have enormous capacity for study and for also gaining occult and spiritual wisdom. Travels and pilgrimage are all favourable. Income, extra income increases, and most of all, your sense of confidence and well-being absolutely soars. So it's an extremely favourable transit. If you want to have children also, it is a very favourable transit for that. Your sense of creativity becomes magnified, and this can again lead to increased income. Saturn is in your fifth house, however, and is a bit of a block on the best aspects of this until Saturn moves on the 26th of Jan 2020 into your sixth house. From that time onwards, the best part of this Jupiter transit will manifest. Why? Because Saturn in your fifth house won't help until he gets into your sixth house, the best place for Saturn to be, and all of the obstacles in your working life, any conflicts you have, any enemies you have, will completely be controlled, and any health issues also controlled after that date. So the full impact of this Jupiter in your fifth house will manifest after Saturn moves on the 26th of Jan 2020. And as you have nothing hindering in your fourth house or in any way blocking this transit, it has full impact for favourable and huge blessings in your life, as I've just indicated. So health issues improving, new income, new people into your life, and favourable for foreign travel and education abroad. In every way, education is favoured. All students should do well in their exams, and in fact, if you are on the wrong course after the Saturn moves, you will find the right educational course for yourself. So it's a very favourable time when your confidence improves, your sense of health and well-being soars, particularly after January next year. So for Virgo sign, Virgo Moon and Virgo Ascendant, Jupiter Guru is going to move into your fourth house on November the 5th. Now this is very favourable because Jupiter in your third house has been disturbing to your mind, giving you huge worries, sibling conflicts and all sorts of issues. Jupiter in your fourth house will help to stabilise that. But here's the thing, until Saturn moves from your fourth house on the 26th of Jan next year into your fifth house, you will not be able to realize the very best of this Jupiter Guru transit. Why? Because Saturn is still highly influencing you in that 2.5 period of Saturn Dia, which is similar to having a Sati period for 2.5 years. So you've been under extreme stress in this last year, Virgo. You've had conflicts, you've had home issues, you've had all sorts of relationship problems, maybe a divorce, maybe separation, but at the very least, you've had huge relationship issues. These will get far better for you when Saturn moves into your fifth house at the beginning of next year. And that is when the very best of this Jupiter will manifest. How will it manifest? It will increase your wisdom and your spiritual knowledge. You will find peace in yourself, a sense of inner satisfaction, particularly you will absolutely make huge improvements to your home environment, maybe new vehicles also may be purchased. Your career will stabilize after all the difficulties of the last 2.5 years. It will finally stabilize for you, and you may move into a new job if that is what you are looking for. Going abroad, taking time for pilgrimage and all sorts of religious activities will benefit you and give you a sense of healing and well-being. Financially, it's still a tricky period, but new work will help you, and healing from within will increase your sense of confidence because you are healing from a very traumatic year, and particularly since Saturn has been here since the end of 17, you have had troubles galore in your relationship. So you need a time of healing, Virgo, and this is the time coming for you now. Saturn going away from your fourth house will be a huge relief for you on the 26th of Jan, and that is when most of the healing and comforting aspects of this Jupiter transit will manifest for you. So for Libra Moon and Libra Rising, Jupiter goes from your second house, a very favourable time, a year of huge support from your family, into your third house where things become a bit destabilised. Jupiter in the third is a very tricky transit, particularly from the moon. Jupiter in here disturbs your mind. It makes you worried about all sorts of things, and you find yourself having sleepless nights and all sorts of contentious issues with your sibling and your cousins and your immediate family. However, there is some relief in that Saturn stays in your third house until January next year. So as long as Saturn is in the third house with Jupiter, the worst aspects won't manifest. When Saturn moves into your fourth house, which is a very difficult transit for Saturn and requires huge patience for you, that is when your mind will become a little more disturbed. But even then, there's a favourable thing for you. If you check in the box below my video, you will see that Jupiter moves into Capricorn for 3 months in the springtime. So for April, May and June of next year, you get relief from the third house worrying aspect. So overall, for that whole year from, this November until next November 2020, you have about half the time when the worst aspects won't worry you. So during the very difficult times, though, be careful about foreign travel. It won't go that well. It will be a bit challenging. Short distance, minimize that as well. Stay put. See to your home affairs, see to your family affairs, and see to your general pattern of life. It's not a time for uprooting yourself or for major travel. Income may be challenging too. It's not the best time to ask for a pay rise, okay? Unless you take care to do it while Saturn is still in your third house, or during that time when Jupiter has left Sagittarius in the box below the video. So watch your relationships also, Libra, because Jupiter here can cause misunderstandings with you and your partner. Be very careful to be very open and very honest and very transparent, because after all, that is what Jupiter wants. Absolute honesty and purity. And if you do that, then Jupiter will be pacified and happy. So always take absolute refuge in your God, in your religion during any challenging aspects, and all will be well. So for Scorpio Moon and Scorpio Lagna, Jupiter Guru is in your second house. This is a supreme blessing house for Jupiter. And Saturn will move from your second house, where he hasn't been favorable, into your third house on Jan 26 next year. So from that time onwards, when Saturn moves, the very best of this Jupiter will manifest for you. So why is Jupiter so supremely favorable for you here? Well, that's because in the first house, particularly from the moon, there have been health issues. There have been real concerns with your eating habits, maybe with your exercise routine, and with your weight, maybe. And this will all completely change, and you will find renewed vigor and all the right medical help to help you to move on. That's the first aspect. Second aspect, in your family life, there may have been all sorts of issues and concerns with Saturn in your second house. They will completely heal in this year. You will find harmony and truth and happiness again in your family sphere, and help financially from your family if you need it. In your working life, you couldn't have a better time than this year. Why is that? Because Jupiter aspects 6th house and the 8th house and the 10th house. Everything you could possibly want to move ahead is there for you. So if you are seeking a new job, you will find the best job you have ever had. You will find exactly the right niche. If you've got any concerns with your co-workers, they will completely dissipate. If you have any need of maybe a new partner to go into business with, you will find the right partner and things will move ahead full steam ahead. In your career, though, you have every chance of fame and supreme recognition. So anything that seems to be holding you back, that will just change overnight. In a miraculous way, doors will open to you. So you should not be afraid to pack up a job which you know is not right for you when you find these new opportunities opening, and they will. All doors will open up for you, particularly after January. So you will absolutely have favor of your superiors, and everything that you could possibly want in your working life will work in your favor. So what a year for you, Scorpio. Move ahead and don't be afraid. As a whole, you tend to be rather cautious about change. You're not a person who likes to make really dramatic change. All depends on your chart. Lots of factors can be there, but you're a cautious person. You must drop that and move ahead as soon as these wonderful opportunities come knocking on your door. So for Sagittarius Moon and Sagittarius Lagna or rising sign, there is a completely different interpretation. It couldn't be more different. So I'm going to start with the moon sign, and then I will move on to the rising sign. So if you have your moon in Vedic Sagittarius, here is my interpretation. Jupiter in your moon sign is agitating to your mind. You become suddenly very frustrated and very anxious, and it's hard to be patient. You will find that all sorts of obstacles crop up where you hadn't expected them, and this increases your worried nature. Let's be very clear what's happening here, Sagittarius Moon. You are in Sadi Sati because you've got Saturn in your moon sign, and therefore you are finding that your total existence has been restricted in some way, particularly movement. And there can be very many scenarios of why that has happened according to your birth chart. So when Jupiter comes here, all of a sudden You can become really fed up with these restrictions, and your mind becomes impatient, worried, and anxious. Everything seems to get to you, everything gets on your nerves, and so it's a very troublesome time. But there is a good remedy for it: calming meditation. It really is going to be essential for you this year. But here's the second thing that is very favorable. Although Jupiter agitates your mind and makes you impatient, you can find spiritual wisdom which helps you to move beyond this now. With your children, with your relationships, and with your foreign endeavors, there will be many delays and obstructions. You will find that children are irritating you, not doing things you would like them, and you become frustrated and angry. Calm down. The same with your partnerships. All of a sudden, you don't know where you stand with your spouse. They are doing things which you don't approve of, and there may be, unfortunately, more arguments and some serious problems. Stay calm and be kind and caring and do all the good stuff that Jupiter would like you to do. Try for patience, Sagittarius Moon. Meditate. Remove yourself from the stress. Foreign travel, I seriously say, it's not good for you unless it's spiritual. If you are going with the actual deeper impact of this Jupiter for spiritual wisdom, foreign travel is hugely beneficial. But if you're going for a fun time abroad, or for for just to have a good time, Jupiter will frustrate you, and you will find much anxiety and many delays. So I wouldn't advise it. Okay. However, here's the good news: there is a short period when Jupiter moves into your highly favorable second house. So if you want foreign travel, if you are searching for a new partner, these are the dates: April, May, and June. Underline them, Sagittarius Moon. That will give you a glimpse of the supremely good fortune that you will have when Jupiter moves into your second house at the end of 2020. So hold on tight, meditate, stay calm, and don't become too anxious. Don't forget, you are in Sadi Sati, and therefore all of these difficult restrictions are going to be churned up by having Jupiter in your moon sign. Rather than freeing you, he's going to make you very anxious and very impatient. So stay calm. Meditation, religious factors will save you. Don't forget Jupiter moving next year into your second house, and he will be there with Saturn in the end of your Sadi Sati period. So that will be favorable. So stay calm. Don't become thinking, well, why isn't it all working out? Jupiter in my first house should be supremely fortunate. Not if it's your moon sign. It's an agitating transit. So don't be despondent. Next year, at the end of next year particularly, things become lighter and you move from this rather trying and burdensome time, Sagittarius. Stay calm, stay focused, meditate. Now, if it's your Lagna or rising sign in Sagittarius, Jupiter has a completely different effect. He lightens up your life because Saturn in your first house has held you back and restricted you, but it's not your moon sign. So therefore, what what you are going to find is that you move ahead in a more positive way, especially after Jan 26 next year. So Sagittarius rising, stay calm. You will feel all of a sudden the impetus to move things ahead, to change things, maybe becoming very impatient to have a child, maybe new issues with your Children will become pressing and prominent. Stay calm because they will all resolve when Saturn moves into your second house. Relationships, it's a wonderful year to find a new partner, particularly after the 26th of Jan next year. And it's a wonderful time for education and foreign endeavors. Okay, so it's a positive time when all sorts of new people come into your life and your life lightens up. Sagittarius rising, it all of a sudden expands and you feel more confident and more, more yourself, I would say, because Saturn on your rising sign has been a sort of a dampening influence, hasn't it, for the last 2 years. So all of a sudden you're more like your old self and it's a favourable year for you. So for Capricorn Moon and Capricorn Lagna, Shani is going to move into your first house, and this is going to be a tremendously important time, whether it's your moon sign, Sadi Sati, or your Lagna. So this particular transit of Guru from your 11th house, where he has brought new people into your world and a very exciting social time and new opportunities, is a time of inner retreat. It's much needed now. It's a time when you separate yourself from people who do not serve you. It's about finding who you want to be around, who is good for you, who works for you, and what your spiritual sustenance is. Here you will find help in foreign lands. Foreign travel is supremely favourable for you now, especially from a spiritual and pilgrimage point of view. You will gain help, sustenance, and a renewed sense of vitality from these foreign travels. You will also be looking into religious beliefs and finding what really sustains you, because you need this to help you through the coming periods of Saturn in your first and second houses. You are also concerned about your home life. For some time now, it's not been satisfying you. It's a really important time now with this fifth house aspect for renewing your home life. This may be for some of you a move. Very often this will be for a quieter environment, but it's a real opportunity to do what's been on your mind for a long time. Working environment may be quite conflicted. There may be niggling health issues. And again, these can be sorted out with spiritual sustenance and meditation and peace. More than anything, you need to de-stress in this time. Financially, there can be one or two issues, but you've got a chance now to sort them out. It's about paring down, really. Any business venture, be very careful about starting this. Think about who you are in a partnership with, how it's really working out for you. Is it really financially sustainable in the long term? And if so, that's fine. However, otherwise, it's a time of paring down and finding what is really essential for you. Now, for Aquarius Moon and Aquarius Lagna, Jupiter Guru is moving into your 11th house, one of the supremely blessing positions, and there are no major obstructions from the 8th house. Therefore, this will actually manifest to its full extent. You are very lucky in this year, Aquarius. Jupiter in his own sign will break any restrictions that have held you back in your life, particularly for new ventures, children and creativity, and also your romantic and partnership life. If you are looking for any new venture opportunities, any new endeavor that you have been thinking about starting, this is the favorable year. If you are maybe looking to have a child, or there are any issues with your children, they will improve tremendously, and it is auspicious for starting a family. Romantically, partnership wise, you will only be with the right people for yourself, and your spousal relationships will improve, calm down, and give you satisfaction and comfort, and you will feel in every way satisfied with your life. So make the most of this auspicious time. Also, earnings will increase beyond compare, and you will find yourself satisfied in your working environment. It's very important that you remember that Saturn is also in this sign. So the really important and the really big opportunities will tend to come when Saturn moves into Capricorn at the end of January 2020. That's the time when you'll be completely freed up to enjoy the benefits of the Guru in your 11th house. So, no holds barred. Have faith in yourself. Have belief in yourself. You don't welcome change that much because you're a fixed sign in these areas in the Kendaras. So now you've got a chance to move, to change, to awaken to new opportunities, particularly with other people. It's a time of new people in your life. It's a time of finding who you are in society. It's not a time for hiding away in your room. It's a time for being out there, getting involved, seeking new contacts, new opportunities for education also. So education goes particularly well in this year. So it's no holds barred, Aquarius. It's a supremely blessing transit for you. So for Pisces Moon and Pisces Lagna, Pisces Rising, Jupiter is moving into your 10th house of career, status and fame. Actually, Jupiter has been in your 9th house for the last year and has unfortunately been blocked by Saturn in your 10th house in Capricorn. Therefore, all the beneficial aspects of a 9th house Jupiter have not been able to manifest for you. So it's very fortunate now that Jupiter finally moves to join Saturn, because Saturn is still in Sagittarius until the beginning of Jan 2020. Therefore, when you have Jupiter in the same house as Saturn, those restrictions in your career will start to dissipate. The last year has been very troublesome for you, Pisces, in relation to your career and your status. You may have found a complete loss of status, a loss of job and unemployment. You may have been very down about your career prospects, or just simply very unhappy in your job. That's all going to change. But the final changes, the most important changes, won't occur until Saturn finally leaves your 10th house and goes into your 11th house on January the 26th, 2020. That's the time when all the issues in your career will dissipate and you will finally find the right job for yourself, or you will find that your status is restored. So a very trying time in your finances also. And actually now we have a Jupiter aspect to your 2nd house of finances. They will slowly become more stabilized. But as I say, not finally until Saturn moves out of your 10th house and into your 11th house. Your home life will improve beyond bounds. Any stresses there will be relieved. Any repairs that need to be done, there will now be enough financial help to do that. And you may even feel that you need to move. And again, that would be favorable in this particular Jupiter transit. Any particular concerns about your health, which may have been quite prominent in the last year, will slowly begin to dissipate. And again, any conflicts with your co-workers, they will also slowly go. So it's a favorable time when you should push ahead as much as you can. From your moon sign, it's a bit worrying that you may become too expansive with a 10th house Jupiter. So I would say from your Lagna, absolutely it's powerful for your career. But from your moon sign, it mostly gives you relief from the difficult stresses which you had during these last 2 years or so. However, when you have Saturn and Jupiter in your 11th house, which will be from the end of next year, well, that is a time for supreme improvement in your life. All of your goals, secret desires, wishes, and hopes can be realized. So hold on tight, Pisces. Things are certainly improving for you. Okay, so that is the end of my video, and I hope it was helpful to everybody. So finally, if you enjoyed my video, sub to my channel, starting out again on YouTube. More videos coming up and more predictions for you. Good luck to everybody and God bless you.